The Dominaria United set was released on the 9th of September 2022 and contains 281 cards in the base set. The following are all the cards in that base set. If you wish for me to do the extended set, then leave a comment down below. Card 1 out of 281, Khan Living Legacy. 4 generic mana, Legendary Planeswalker Khan, Mythic Rarity. +1. Create a tap Power Stone. It's an artifact with tap, add colorless mana. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spell. -1. Pay an amount of mana. Look at that many cards from the top of your library. Then put one of those cards into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. -7. You get an emblem with tap an untapped artifact you control. This emblem deals 1 damage to any target. For loyalty, the market value is currently 4.26, with the foil being 4.92. Card number 2, Anointed Peacekeeper. 1 plain, 2 generic mana. Creature, Human Cleric. Rarity, Rare. Vigilance. As Anointed Peacekeeper enters the battlefield, look at opponent's hand, then choose any card. Spells your opponent cast with chosen name cost 2 more to cast. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name cost 2 more to activate, unless they're mana abilities. 3 power, 3 toughness. The current market price is $0.6, and the foil variant is $0.66. Card number 3, Archangel of Wrath. 2 plains mana, 2 generic mana. Creature, Angel. Rarity, Rare. Kicker, Swamp and or Mountain mana. You may pay an additional swamp or mountain mana as you cast the spell. Flying, Lifelink. When Archangel of Wrath enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it deals 2 damage to any target. When Archangel of Wrath enters the battlefield, if it was kicked twice, it deals 2 damage to any target. 3 power, 4 toughness. Current market value $0.27, and the foil variant is $0.55. Card number 4, Argivian Cavalier. 1 plains, 2 generic mana. Creature, Orc Knight. Rarity, Common. Enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. When Argivian Cavalier enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. 2 power, 2 toughness. Current market price, $0.06, and the foil variant is $0.16. Card number 5, Argivian Phalanx. 1 plains, 5 generic mana. Creature, Human Core Soldier. Rarity, Common. This spell costs 1 generic mana less to cast for each creature you control. Vigilance. Flavor text. You are gave welcome to the core people when they were displaced by the wrathy overlay. The core repaid that kindness with fierce loyalty. 4 power, 4 toughness. Current market value $0.05. Foil variant $0.19. Card number 6, Artillery Blast. Costs 1 plains mana, 1 generic mana. Instant. Rarity, Common. Domain. Artillery Blast deals X damage to target tapped creature, where X is 1 plus the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Flavor text. To conserve ammunition, Jahoria modified Ancient Thrawn artillery cannons to fire gouts of pure Shivan lava. The current market value is $0.09, with the foil variant being $0.17. Card number 7, Venelish Faithbonder. Costs 1 plains, 1 generic mana. Creature, Human Cleric. Rarity, Common. Vigilance. Enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. Flavor text. A single light can hold back an endless darkness. 1 power, 3 toughness. Current market value $0.07. Foil variant $0.13. Card number 8, Benelish Sleeper. Costs 1 plains, 1 generic mana. Phyrexian Human Soldier. Rarity, Common. Kicker, 1 swamp. You may pay an additional swamp as you cast the spell. When Benelish Sleeper enters battlefield, if it was kicked, each player sacrifices a creature. Flavor text. Even he didn't know what he was until he left his skin shifting and splitting, his mind overtaken by chaos of whispers. 3 power, 1 toughness. Current market value $0.09. Foil variant $0.13. Card number 9, Captain's Call. Costs 1 plains, 3 generic mana. Sorcery. Rarity common. Create 3/1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Flavor text. Argivia's walls may run on power stones, but its real power comes from its people. King Darien the 48th. Current market value $0.07. Foil variant $0.04. Card number 10. Charismatic Vanguard. 1 plains, 2 generic mana. Creature, Dwarf Soldier. Rarity, common. Ability cost, pay 4 generic 1 plains mana. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Flavor text. The battlefield is an anvil, my mace a forging hammer, and you, Phyrexian scum, are the scrap of metal that's about to be reshaped as I see fit. 3 power, 2 toughness. Current market value $0.06. Foil variant $0.15. Card number 11, Citizen's Arrest. Costs 2 plains, 1 generic mana. Type, enchantment. Rarity, common. Abilities. When Citizen Arrest enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls until Citizen's Arrest leaves the battlefield. Flavor text. What lurks behind the faces of those you think you can trust? Card number 12, Cleaving Skyrider. Costs 1 plains, 2 generic mana. Type, creature, human warrior. Rarity, uncommon. Abilities. Flash. Kicker, 2 generic mana, 1 mountain. You may pay an additional 2 generic mana, 1 mountain, as you cast the spell. Flying. When Cleaving Skyrider enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of attacking creatures. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 13, Clockwork Drawbridge. Costs 1 plains mana. Type, artifact, creature, war. Rarity, common. Abilities. Defender. Spend 2 generic 1 plains mana and tap this card. Tap target creature. Flavor text. Argivia's clockwork fortifications are the stuff of legend, reminding all on Dominaria that ingenuity saved them before and can do so again. 0 power, 3 toughness. Card number 14, Coalition Sky Knight. Costs 1 plains, 3 generic mana. Type, creature, human knight. Rarity, uncommon. Abilities, flying. Enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 15, Danitha, Benalia's Hope. Costs 1 plain, 4 general mana. Type, legendary creature. Human knight. Rarity, rare. Abilities, First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink. When Danitha, Benalia's Hope enters the battlefield, you may put an Aura of Equipment card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield, attached to Danitha. 4 power, 4 toughness. At card number 16, Defiler of Faith. Costs 2 plains, 3 generic mana. Type, creature, Phyrexian human. Rarity, rare. Abilities, Vigilance. As an additional cost to cast white permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost 1 mana less to cast if you paid life this way. This effect reduces only the amount of white mana you pay. Whenever you cast a white permanent spell, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. 5 power, 5 toughness. Card number 17, Destroy Evil. Costs 1 plain, 1 generic mana. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Abilities, choose 1. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater, or destroy target enchantment. Flavor text. Sarah's grace most often manifests as a healing touch, but it may also grant a merciful death. Card number 18, Griffin Protector. Costs 1 plains, 3 generic mana. Type, creature, Griffin. Rarity, common. Abilities, flying. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Griffin Protector gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Flavor text. Griffin flocks still patrol the skies above the Zulfaran void, as though they are waiting for their old home to reappear. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 19, Guardian of New Benelia. Costs 1 plains, 1 generic mana. Type, creature, human soldier. Rarity, rare. Abilities, enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. Whenever Guardian of New Benelia enlists a creature, scry 2. Discard a card. Guardian of New Benelia gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 20, Heroic Charge. Costs 2 planes, 2 general mana. Type instant, rarity, common. Ability. Kicker, 1 general, 1 mounted. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 mounted mana as you cast this spell. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, those creatures also gain trample until end of turn. Flavor text. For Cal, for Dominaria, Dominaria. Card number 21, Join Forces. Costs 1 plane, 2 generic mana. Type instant, rarity uncommon. Abilities. Untap up to 2 target creatures. They each get +2/+2 until end of turn. Flavor text. Okay, you take the 16 Rages and the Hulk on the right, and I'll take the 10 Defilers and the Plague Lord on the left. Ready? Danatha to Radha. Card number 22. Juniper Order Rootweaver. Costs 1 planes, 1 generic mana. Type creature. Human Druid. Rarity common. Ability. Kicker. Forest. You may pay an additional forest mana as you cast this spell. When Juniper Order Rootweaver enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Flavor text. But Varaxia takes, the grace of Feralise shall replenish. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 23, Knight of Dawn's Light. 1 planes, 1 generic mana. Type creature, human knight, rarity uncommon. Abilities, Burst Strike. If you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. Spend 1 general, 1 planes. Knight of Dawn's Light gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Flavor text. Phyraxians destroyed my village, but they cannot break my hope. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 24, Leyline Binding. Costs 1 planes, 5 generic mana. Type enchantment. Rarity rare. Ability flash. Domain. This spell costs 1 general mana less to cast for each basic land type among the lands you control. When Leyline Binding enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Leyline Binding leaves the battlefield. Card number 25, Love Song of Night and Day. Costs 1 plane, 2 generic mana. Type enchantment saga. Rarity uncommon. Abilities read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skipped chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1. You and target opponent each draw 2 cards. 2. Create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. 3. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Card number 26. Mesa Cavalier. Costs 1 planes, 2 generic mana. Type creature, human knight, rarity common. Abilities, flying. When Mesa Cavalier enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. Flavor text. In the fight to defeat Phyrexia, the courage of Battle-Ash Knights is matched only by their Pegasus steeds. 2 power, 1 toughness. Card number 27, Phyrexian Missionary. Costs 1 planes, 1 general mana. Type creature, Phyrexian Human Cleric. Rarity uncommon. Ability, Kicker. 1 general, 1 swamp. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 swamp mana as you cast this spell. Lifelink. When Phyrexian Missionary enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 28, Prayer of Binding. Costs 1 planes, 3 general mana. Type enchantment. Ability, flash. When Prayer of Binding enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Prayer of Binding leaves the battlefield. You gain 2 life. Flavor text. When a Phyrexian agent cannot be killed, they must be contained. Card number 29, Resolute Reinforcements. Costs 1 plane, 1 general mana. Type creature, human soldier. Rarity uncommon. Ability, flash. When Resolute Reinforcements enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Flavor text. Morale rarely survives the sudden appearance of a squad of Cersei skirmishers at an army's flank. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 30. Runic Shot. Costs 1 planes. Type sorcery. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Kicker island. You may pay an additional island as you cast this spell. Destroy target tapped creature if the spell was kicked. Scry 2. Flavor text. Target acquired! Card number 31. Semite Herbalist. Costs 1 plains, 1 general mana. Type creature. Human cleric. Rarity. Common. Abilities. Whenever Semite Herbalism becomes tapped, you gain 1 life and scry 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card at the bottom of your library. Flavor text. Spiritual wholeness is not something you can give to yourself. It is attained only through the divine blessing of healing another. Card number 32. Sarah Paragon. Costs 2 plains, 2 general mana. Type creature. Angel. Rarity. Mythic. Abilities. Flying. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land from your graveyard as you cast a permanent spell with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. If you do, it gains when this permanent is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, exile it, and you gain 2 life. 3 power, 4 toughness. Card number 33. Shalai's Acolyte. Costs 1 plains, 4 generic mana. Type creature, angel. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, kicker. 1 general, 1 forest mana. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 forest mana as you cast this spell. Flying. If Shalai's Acolyte was kicked, it enters battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Flavor text. Armed by Maltini, she protected the forest from above. 3 power, 4 toughness. Card number 34. Stall for time. Costs 1 plains, 2 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Abilities. Kicker. 1 general, 1 island mana. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 island mana as you cast this spell. Tap up to 2 target creatures. If the spell was kicked, put a stun counter on each of those creatures. If a permanent with stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Draw a card. Card number 35. Take up the shield. Costs 1 plains, 1 general mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. Damage and effects that say destroy don't destroy it. Flavor text. You're all part of my pride. As long as I live, I will protect you. At card number 36. Temporary Lockdown. Costs 2 plains, 1 general mana. Type enchantment. Rarity rare. Ability. When Temporary Lockdown enters the battlefield, exile each non-land permanent with a mana value of 2 or less until Temporary Lockdown leaves the battlefield. Flavor text. As any one of us could be compromised, said Khan. No one leaves until we know how can be trusted. At card number 37. Urza assembles the Titans. Costs 2 plains, 3 general mana. Type enchantment, saga. Rarity rare. Abilities. Read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skip chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1. Scry 4. Then you may reveal the top card of your library. If Planeswalker card is revealed this way, put it into your hand. 2. You may put a Planeswalker card with mana value 6 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. 3. You may activate the loyalty abilities of Planeswalker you control twice this turn, rather than only once. Card number 38. Valiant Veteran. Costs 1 plains, 1 general mana. Type creature. Call soldier. Rarity rare. Abilities. Other soldiers you control get +1/+1. Spend 3 general, 2 plains, exile Valiant Veteran from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on each soldier you control. Flavor text. Let them come! We will show them that the Agravian steel is stronger than Phyrexian metal! 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 39. Wingmantle Chaplain. Costs 1 plains, 3 generic mana. Type human creature. Rarity uncommon. Abilities. Defender. When Wingmantle Chaplain enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying for each creature with defender you control. Whenever another creature with defender enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. 0 power, 3 toughness. Card number 40. Academy Lawmaster. Costs 2 island mana. Type creature, human wizard. Rarity rare. Ability. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player may draw an additional card. If they do, spells they cast this turn cost 2 general mana more to cast. Flavor text. As a young student, she dusted the shelves of Talaria's great library. Now she writes the books that line them. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 41, Academy War. Costs 1 island, 2 general mana. Type, creature, war. Rarity, common. Abilities, defender. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. This ability triggers only once a turn. Flavor text. Once the Society of Mishra took control, the Talarian Academy at Lacknan became a haven for dark research. 0 power, 5 toughness. Card number 42, Aether Channeler. Costs 1 island, 2 general mana. Type, creature, human wizard. Rarity, rare. Ability. When Aether Channeler enters the battlefield, choose 1. Create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying, or return another target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, or draw a card. 2 power, 1 toughness. Card number 43, Battlewing Mystic. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, creature, bird wizard. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, kicker, mountain. You may pay an additional mountain as you cast this spell. Flying. When Battlefield Mystic enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, discard your hand, then draw 2 cards. 2 power, 1 toughness. Card number 44, Combat Research. Costs 1 island mana. Type, enchantment, aura. Rarity, uncommon. Abilities, enchant creature. Enchant creature has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. As long as enchant creature is legendary, it gets +1/+1 and has a ward of 1 general mana. Whenever enchanted creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it, unless that player pays 1 general mana. At card number 45, Coral Colony. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, creature, wall. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, defender. Spend 1 general, 1 island mana. Tap this card. Target player mills X cards, where X is the number of creatures you control with defender. To mill a card, a player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard. Flavor text. The sea floor is strewn with the wreckage of Vardalia's would-be conquerors. 1 power, 4 toughness. Card number 46, Defiler of Dreams. Costs 2 island, 3 general mana. Type, creature, Phyrexian Sphinx. Rarity, rare. Abilities, flying. As an additional cost to cast blue permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost 1 island mana less to cast if you paid life in this way. This effect reduces only the amount of blue mana you pay. Whenever you cast a blue permanent spell, draw a card. 4 power, 3 toughness. Card number 47, Djinn of the Fountain. Costs 2 island, 4 general mana. Type, creature, Djinn. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose 1. Djinn of the Fountain gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Or exile Djinn of the Fountain, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Or scry 1. War power, 4 toughness. Card number 48, Urtai's Scorn. Costs 2 island, 1 general mana. Type, instant. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. This spell costs 1 island less to cast if an opponent casts 2 or more spells this turn. Counter target spell. Flavor text. You're not so special, Con. Anything that has been assembled can be disassembled. Card number 49. Essence Scatter. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Ability. Counter target creature spell. Flavor text. Phyrexians root everything they touch, so solution is simple. Don't let them touch anything. Teferi. Card number 50. Bounding the Third Path. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, enchantment, saga. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skip chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value of 1 or 2 from your hand without paying its mana cost. 2. Target player mills 4 cards. 3. Exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Copy it. You may cast the copy. Card number 51. Frostfist Strider. Costs 2 island, 3 general mana. Type, creature, elemental giant. rarity, uncommon. Ability, ward 2 general mana. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it, unless that player pays 2 general mana. When Frost Fist Strider enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. If a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. 4 power, 4 toughness. Card number 52, Haughty Djinn. Costs 2 island, 1 general mana. Type, creature, Djinn. Rarity, rare. Ability, flying. Haughty Djinn's power is equal to the number of instants and sorcery cards in your graveyard. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 general mana less to cast. Flavor text. I adore your outfit. It's so, rustic. X power, 4 toughness. Card number 53. Haunting Figment. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, creature, illusion. Rarity, common. Ability, vigilance. Haunting Figment can't be blocked, as long as you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. Flavor text. Some bad dreams stay with you forever. 2 power, 1 toughness. Card number 54. Impede Momentum. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, sorcery. Rarity, common. Ability, tap target creature and put 3 stun counters on it. If a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Scry 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom of your library. Card number 55. Impulse. Costs 1 island, 1 generic mana. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Ability, look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library, in any order. Flavor text. I always made snap decisions. I'm just better at making the right ones now that I'm older and wiser. Teferi. Card number 56. Joint Exploration. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Ability, kicker, forest. You may pay an additional forest as you cast this spell. Scry 2. Then draw a card. If the spell was kicked, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Flavor text. The Talarians had the maps, but only the Yabamayans knew how to read them. Card number 57. Micromancer. Costs 1 island, 3 general mana. Type, creature, human wizard. Rarity, common. Ability, when Micromancer enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an instant or sorcery card with a mana value 1. Reveal it. Put it into your hand, then shuffle. Flavor text. Ideas don't have to be big to be great. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 58. Negate. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Ability, counter target non-creature spell. Flavor text. It is frustrating, isn't it, to be so weak and ineffectual? Don't worry, you'll be complete soon enough. Rona. And card number 59. The Phasing of Zulfur. Costs 2 island, 2 general mana. Type, enchantment, saga. Rarity, rare. Ability, read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skipped chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1 and 2. Another target non-land permanent phases out. It can't phase in for as long as you control the Phasing of Zulfur. 3. Destroy all creatures. For each creature destroyed this way, its controller creates a 2/2 black Phyrexian creature token. Card number 60. Phyrexian Espionage. Costs 1 island, 2 general mana. Type, sorcery. Rarity, common. Ability, kicker. 1 general, 1 swamp mana. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 swamp mana as you cast this spell. Draw 2 cards. If the spell was kicked, each opponent discards a card. Flavor text. Even if they are hunting for sleeper agents, who looks twice at a bird? Rona. Card number 61. Pixie Illusionist. Costs 1 island mana. Type, creature. Fairy wizard. Rarity, common. Ability, 3 general, 1 forest. You may pay an additional 3 general, 1 forest mana as you cast this spell. Flying. If Pixie Illusionist was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Tap this card. Target land you control becomes a basic land type of your choice until end of turn. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 62. Protect the Negotiators. Costs 1 island, 1 generic mana. Type, instant. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, kicker. Plains. You may pay an additional planes as you cast this spell. If the spell was kicked, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1 general mana for each creature you control. At card number 63, Mona's Vortex. Costs 1 island mana. Type instant. Rarity uncommon. Ability kicker. 2 general, 1 swamp mana. You may pay an additional 2 general, 1 swamp mana as you cast this spell. Return target creature or planeswalker you don't control to its owner's hand. If the spell was kicked, put that permanent on the bottom of its owner's library instead. Card number 64, Shore Up. Costs 1 island mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Tap it. It can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent controls. Flavor text. Palmarid's shells are adapted for crushing pressure of the deepest depths. On land, their sturdiness seems supernatural. Card number 65, Silver Scrutiny. Costs 2 island and X amount of general mana. Type sorcery. Rarity rare. Ability. You may cast Silver Scrutiny as though it had flash if X is 3 or less. Draw X cards. Flavor text. Khan's creation allowed him to monitor events across Dominaria, and everything he saw worried him. Card number 66, Soaring Drake. Costs 1 island, 2 colorless mana. Type creature, Drake. Rarity common. Ability flying. Flavor text. The already spectacular views from the towers of the College of Latnam are sometimes enhanced by glimpses of drakes diving into the ocean to devour small sharks. 2 power, 3 toughness. Current market value 0.06. Foil variant $0.15. Card number 67. Sphinx of Clear Skies. Costs 2 island, 3 general mana. Type creature, Sphinx. Rarity mythic. Ability flying. Ward 2 general mana. Domain. Whenever Sphinx of Clear Skies deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. An opponent separates those lands into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Piles can be empty. 5 power, 5 toughness. Card number 68. Talus Lookout. Costs 2 island, 2 general mana. Type creature, human pirate. Rarity common. Ability flying. When Talos Lookout dies, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Flavor text. The Talos pirates are motivated by money, so we paid them twice what they could steal from us to spy for us instead. Doria. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 69. Tidepool Turtle. Costs 1 island, 3 general mana. Type creature, turtle. Rarity common. Ability. Spend 2 general mana, 1 island. Scry 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom of your library. Flavor text. Prized by wizards as mobile scrying pools, it bears vision drawn from the depths of the sea. 2 power, 5 toughness. At card number 70, Timely Interference. Costs 1 island mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability kicker. 1 general, 1 mountain mana. You may pay an additional 1 general and mountain mana as you cast this spell. Target creature gets -1/-0 until end of turn. If the spell was kicked, that creature blocks this turn if able. Draw a card. Flavor text. Students fled with their research as Talaria fell to the Phyrexians. Card number 71. Talarian Geyser. Costs 1 island, 2 general mana. Type sorcery. Rarity common. Ability kicker planes. You may pay an additional planes mana as you cast this spell. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. If the spell was kicked, you gain 3 life. Flavor text. If they don't drown, perhaps they'll rust. Card number 72. Talarian Terror. Costs 1 island, 6 general mana. Type creature, serpent. Rarity common. Ability. This spell costs 1 general mana less to cast for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. Ward 2 general mana. Whenever this creature becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it, unless that player pays 2 general mana. Flavor text. Afterward, a number of treatises on sea serpent morphology were swiftly revised. 5 power, 5 toughness. At card number 73. Vesuvian Diplomacy. Costs 1 island, 3 general mana. Type enchantment. Rarity mythic. Ability. Whenever you cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature you control, create a token that is a copy of the artifact or creature, except it is not legendary. Flavor text. There hasn't been an original thought on Vesuva in centuries. Emist, Talarian Chronicler. Card number 74. Voda Sea Scavenger. Costs 1 island, 2 general mana. Type creature. Merfolk Rogue. A rarity common. Ability domain. When Voda Sea Scavenger enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. You may put one of those cards on top of your library, but the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 75. Vodalian Hexcatcher. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type creature. Merfolk Wizard. Rarity rare. Ability flash. Other merfolk you control get +1/+1. Sacrifice a merfolk. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1 general mana. Flavor text. You're just one more pollutant to be removed from the sea. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 76. Vodalian Mindsinger. Costs 2 island, 1 general mana. Type creature. Merfolk Wizard. Rarity rare. Ability kicker. 1 general, 1 mountain mana, and or 1 general, 1 forest mana. Vodalian Mindsinger enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each time it was kicked. When Vodalian Mindsinger enters the battlefield, gain control of target creatures with power less than Vodalian Mindsinger's power for as long as you control Vodalian Mindsinger. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 77. Vulture Tideturner. Costs 1 island, 1 general mana. Type creature. Merfolk Wizard. Rarity common. Ability. Tap this card. Add 1 island mana. Spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell or a kicked spell. Flavor. Ships suspected of carrying Sheoldred's agents have a tendency to drift far off course as they sail through the Vodish Sea. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 78. Aggressive Sabotage. Costs 1 swamp, 2 general mana. Type sorcery. Rarity common. Ability kicker. 1 mountain. You may pay an additional mountain mana as you cast this spell. Target player discards 2 cards. If the spell was kicked, it deals 3 damage to that player. Flavor text. Squeeze orders basically came down to attack the squishy parts. Card number 79. Bulduvian Atrocity. Costs 1 swamp, 2 general mana. Type creature. Phyrexian Berserker. Rarity uncommon. Ability kicker mountain. You may pay an additional mountain as you cast this spell. Menace. When Bulduvian Atrocity enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of next end step. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 80. Battle Rage Blessing. Costs 1 swamp, 1 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability. Target creature gains Death Touch and indestructible until end of turn. Damage and effects that say destroy don't destroy it. Flavor text. And when is it cheating to give one side an unfair advantage? Braids. Card number 81. Battlefly Swarm. Costs 1 swamp mana. Type creature. Phyrexian Insect. Rarity common. Ability flying. Spend 1 swamp. Battlefly Swarm gains Death Touch until end of turn. Flavor text. Having encountered the better Phyrexian battleflies before, Squee knew not to bother eating them, or at least to stop after the 5th. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 82. Blight Pile. Costs 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type creature. Phyrexian. Rarity uncommon. Ability Defender. Spend 2 general, 1 swamp mana. Tap this card. Each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of creatures with Defender you control. Flavor text. Keep your distance. It may look broken, but it's far from benign. Sten. 3 power, 3 toughness. At card number 83. Bone Splinters. Costs 1 swamp. Type sorcery. Rarity common. Ability. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Destroy target creature. Flavor text. Steel may be more durable, but nothing channels spite of the unjustly dead like bone. Braids. Card number 84. Braids Arisen Nightmare. Costs 2 swamp, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, nightmare. Rarity, rare. Ability. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life, and you draw a card. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 85. Raid's Fightful Return. Costs 1 swamp, 2 general mana. Type, enchantment, saga. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skipped chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. Number 1. You may sacrifice a creature. If you do, each opponent discards a card. 2. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. 3. Target opponent may sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. If they don't, they lose 2 life, and you draw a card. Card number 86. Choking My Asthma. Costs 2 swamp, 1 general mana. Type, sorcery. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, kicker, forest. You may pay an additional forest mana as you cast this spell. If this spell was kicked, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. All creatures gain -2/-2 until end of turn. Flavor text. The Phyrexians were as surprised as anyone to discover they still needed to breathe. Card number 87. The Cruelty of Gix. Costs 2 swamp, 3 general mana. Type, enchantment, saga. Rarity, rare. Ability, read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after you draw a step. Skipped chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a creature or planeswalker card from it. That player discards that card. 2. Search your library for a card. Put that card into your hand. Then shuffle. You lose 3 life. 3. Put target creature card from graveyard onto battlefield under your control. Card number 88. Cult Conscript. Costs 1 swamp mana. Type, creature. Skeleton, warrior. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, Cult Conscript enters the battlefield tapped. Spend 1 general, 1 swamp mana. Return Cult Conscript from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only if a non-skeleton creature died under your control this turn. Flavor text. His eternal rest turned out to be just more of a quick nap. 2 power, 1 toughness. Card number 89. Cut Down. Costs 1 swamp. Type, instant. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, destroy target creature with total power and toughness 5 or less. Flavor text. There can be no mercy, no half measures. When facing Phyrexians, it's kill swiftly or die. Joda. Card number 90. Defiler of Flesh. Costs 2 swamp, 2 general mana. Type, creature. Phyrexian horror. Rarity, rare. Ability, menace. As an additional cost to cast black permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost 1 swamp less to cast if you paid life in this way. This effect reduces only the amount of black mana you pay. Whenever you cast a black permanent spell, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains menace until end of turn. 4 power, 4 toughness. Card number 91. Drag to the bottom. Costs 2 swamp, 2 general mana. Type, sorcery. Rarity, rare. Ability, domain. Each creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is 1 plus the number of basic land types among lands you control. Flavor text. When Grace's Glade Hunters hibernate in the quagmire of Urbog until the scent of Phyrexian technology awakens their hunger. And card number 92. Eerie Soul Tender. Costs 1 swamp, 2 general mana. Type, creature. Spirit Cleric. Rarity, common. Ability. When Eerie Soul Tender enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. To mill a card, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Spend 4 general mana, 1 swamp. Exile Eerie Soul Tender from your graveyard. Return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. 3 power, 1 toughness. Card number 93. Evolved Sleeper. Costs 1 swamp. Type, creature, human. Rarity, rare. Ability, spend 1 swamp mana. Evolved Sleeper becomes a human cleric with a base power and toughness 2/2. Spend 1 general, 1 swamp mana. If Evolved Sleeper is a cleric, put a death touch counter on it, and it becomes a Phyrexian human cleric with base power and toughness of 3/3. Spend 1 general mana, 2 swamp mana. If Evolved Sleeper is a Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on it, then draw a card. and you lose 1 life. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 94. Extinguish the Light. Costs 2 swamp, 2 general mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. If its mana value was 3 or less, you gain 3 life. Flavor text. Jaya did not want to die, but of all the things to die for, Dominaria felt right. Card number 95. Gibbering Barricade. Costs 1 swamp, 2 general mana. Type creature. Nightmare Wall. Rarity common. Ability Defender. Spend 2 general, 1 swamp, sacrifice a creature. You gain 1 life and draw a card. Flavor text. Who needs stone walls when you can hide behind an impenetrable barrier of screaming nightmares? Braids. 2 power, 4 toughness. Card number 96. Knight of Dusk's Shadow. Costs 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type creature. Human Knight. Rarity uncommon. Ability Menace. This creature cannot be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Spend 1 general, 1 swamp mana. Knight of Dusk's Shadow gets +1/+1 until end of turn. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 97. Liliana of the Veil. Costs 2 swamp, 1 general mana. Type Legendary Planeswalker Liliana. Rarity Mythic. Abilities. +1 loyalty. Each player discards a card. -2 loyalty. Target player sacrifices a creature. -6 loyalty. Separate all permanents target player controls into 2 piles. That player sacrifices all permanents in the pile of their choice. Starts with 3 loyalty. Card number 98. Monstrous Warleech. Costs 1 swamp, 3 general mana. Type creature. Leech Horror. Rarity uncommon. Ability Kicker Island. You may pay an additional island as you cast this spell. As Monstrous Warleech enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, mill 4 cards. To mill a card, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Monstrous Warleech's power and toughness are each equal to the highest mana value amongst cards in your graveyard. X power, X toughness. Card number 99, Phyrexian Rager. Costs 1 swamp, 2 generic mana. Type creature, Phyrexian Horror. Rarity common. Ability. When Phyrexian Rager enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Flavor text. Resist if you must, it makes no difference. As for Miraidon, your world will bow to Phyrexia. Shieldred. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 100. Phyrexian Vivisector. Costs 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type creature, Phyrexian Human. Rarity common. Ability. Whenever a creature you control dies, scry 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom of your library. Flavor text. Before he was father of machines, Yawgmoth was Twisted Thron physician, and his legacy of medical atrocities lives on in New Phyrexia. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 101. Phyrexian Warhorse. Costs 1 swamp, 3 generic mana. Type creature, Phyrexian Horse. Rarity common. Ability Kicker Plains. You may pay an additional plains mana as you cast this spell. When Phyrexian Warhorse enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Spend 1 generic mana. Sacrifice another creature. Phyrexian Warhorse gets +2/+1 until end of turn. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 102. Pilfer. Costs 1 swamp, 1 generic mana. Type Sorcery. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards the card. Flavor text. To the merchant, it was nothing more than a few missing trinkets. 2 tiny bones. It was the greatest heist of all times. Card number 103. The Raven Man. Costs 1 swamp, 1 generic mana. Type Legendary Creature. Human Wizard. Rarity Rare. Ability. At the beginning of each end step, if a player discarded a card this turn, create a 1/1 Blackbird creature token with flying, and this creature can't block. Spend 3 generic 1 swamp mana, tap this card. Each opponent discards a card. Activate only as a sorcery. 2 power, 1 toughness. Card number 104. Singer Connoisseur. Costs 2 swamp, 3 generic mana. Type creature, vampire. Rarity uncommon. Ability flying. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, put a +1/+1 counter on Singer Connoisseur. This ability triggers only once each turn. Flavor text. We cannot afford to let the Phyrexians win. They taste terrible. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 105, Shadow Prophecy. Costs 1 swamp, 2 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability domain. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types amongst the lands you control. Put up to 2 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 2 life. Flavor text. Lord Windgrace, grant me wisdom. Card number 106. Shadow Rite Priest. Costs 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type creature. Human cleric. Rarity rare. Abilities. Other clerics you control get +1/+1. Spend 3 general mana, 2 swamp mana, and tap this card. Sacrifice another cleric. Search your library for a black creature card. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Flavor text. Backstabbing is common within demonic cults. So are front and side stabbing. 2 power, 2 toughness. At card number 107, Sheoldred, the Apocalypse. Costs 2 swamp, 2 general mana. Type, legendary creature. Phyrexian Praetor. Rarity, mythic. Abilities, Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. Flavor text. Gix failed, I shall not. 4 power, 5 toughness. Card number 108, Sheoldred's Restoration. Costs 1 swamp, 3 general mana. Type, sorcery. Rarity uncommon. Ability, kicker. 2 general, 1 plains. You may pay an additional 2 general, 1 plains as you cast this card. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If the spell was kicked, you gain life equal to that card's mana value. Otherwise, you lose that much life. Exile Sheoldred's Resurrection. Card number 109. Splatter Goblin. Costs 1 swamp, 1 colorless mana. Type, creature, Phyrexian Goblin. Rarity, common. Ability, when Splatter Goblin dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Flavor text. For some, perfection is but a single moment, one form and purpose converge. Rona. 2 power, 1 toughness. Card number 110, Stronghold Arena. Costs 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type, enchantment. Rarity, rare. Abilities, kicker, forest, and or plains. You may pay an additional forest and or plains as you cast this spell. When Stronghold Arena enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life for each time it was kicked. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may reveal the top card of your library and put it in your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. Card number 111, Tattered Apparition. Costs 1 swamp, 3 general mana. Type, creature, shade. Rarity, common. Ability, flying. Spend 1 general mana, 1 swamp. Tattered Apparition gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Flavor text. Ah, yes, I remember that one. I turned him inside out and cast his soul into the endless nightmare a few centuries ago. Braids. 2 power, 2 toughness. Set card number 112. Toxic Abomination. Costs 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type, creature, Phyrexian Zombie. Rarity, common. Abilities. When Toxic Abomination enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life. Flavor text. Deep in the forgotten reaches of Urbog, ancient Phyrexian monstrosities scramble endlessly, putrid ichor leaking from their rusted forms. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 113, Tribute to Urbog. Costs 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Ability, kicker. 1 general, 1 island. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 island mana as you cast this spell. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. If the spell was kicked, that creature gets an additional -1/-1 until end of turn for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. Card number 114, Urbog Repossession. Costs 1 swamp mana. Type, sorcery. Rarity, common. Ability, kicker. 1 general mana, 1 forest. You may pay an additional 1 general mana, 1 forest as you cast this spell. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain 2 life. If the spell was kicked, return another target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Card number 115, Writhing Necromass. Costs 1 swamp, 6 general mana. Type, creature. Zombie giant. Rarity, common. Ability. This spell costs 1 general mana less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. Death Touch. Flavor text. We sent 3 of our best legions. You're telling me that no one came back? Tory to Avenant. 5 power, 5 toughness. Card number 116, Bolduvian Berserker. Costs 1 mountain, 2 general mana. Type, creature. Core Berserker. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. When Bolduvian Berserker dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 117, Chaotic Transformation. Costs 1 mountain, 5 generic mana. Type, instant. Rarity, rare. Ability, exile up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, up to 1 target planeswalker, and or up to 1 target land. For each permanent exiled this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a card that shares a card type with it. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffles. Card number 118, Coalition Warbrute. Costs 1 mountain, 3 general mana. Type, creature. Minotaur Berserker. Rarity, common. Ability, enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. Trample. Flavor text. Anger is the greatest weapon, and he sharpens it daily. 3 power, 4 toughness. Card number 119, Defiler of Instinct. Costs 2 mountain, 2 general mana. Type, creature. Phyrexian Kavu. Rarity, rare. Ability, First Strike. As an additional cost to cast red permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost 1 mountain less to cast if you paid life this way. This ability only reduces the amount of red mana you pay. Whenever you cast a red permanent spell, Defiler of Instinct deals 1 damage to any target. 4 power, 4 toughness. Card number 120, Dragonwhelp. Costs 2 mountain, 2 general mana. Type, creature. Dragon. Rarity, uncommon. Abilities, flying. Spend 1 mountain. Dragonwhelp gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If this ability has been activated 4 or more times this turn, sacrifice Dragonwhelp at the beginning of next end step. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 121. The Elder Dragon War. Costs 2 mountain, 2 colorless mana. Type, enchantment, saga. Rarity, rare. Ability, read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after you draw step. Skip chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1. The Elder Dragon War deals 2 damage to each creature and each opponent. 2. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. 3. Create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Card number 122, Electrostatic Infantry. Costs 1 mountain mana, 1 general mana. Type, creature. Dwarf Wizard. Rarity, uncommon. Abilities, trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Electrostatic Infantry. Flavor text. That's not exactly what I had in mind when I said charge, but I like your enthusiasm. Balmor Battle Mage Captain. 1 power, 2 toughness. Card number 123. Fires of Victory. Costs 1 mountain, 1 general mana. Type, instant. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, 2 general, 1 island mana. You may pay an additional 2 general, 1 island mana as you cast this spell. If the spell is kicked, draw a card. Fires of Victory deals damage to a target creature or planeswalker equal to the number of cards in your hand. Flavor text. The drums and horns were expected, but the goblin dance was a pleasant surprise. Card number 124, Flowstone Infusion. Costs 1 mountain. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Ability, target creature gets +2/-2 until end of turn. Flavor text. The rumor that contact with Flowstone would reveal Phyrexian sleeper agents was spread mostly by Phyrexian sleeper agents. Card number 125. Flowstone Kavu. Costs 1 mountain, 2 colorless mana. Type, creature. Kavu. Rarity, common. Abilities, menace. This creature can't be blocked but except by 2 or more creatures. Spend 1 mountain. Flowstone Kavu gets +1/-1 until end of turn. Flavor text. The Kavu adjusted easily to the Wrathy overlay, incorporating the invasive Flowstone into their own adaptable forms. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 126. Furious Bellow. Costs 1 mountain, 1 colorless mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Scry 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card at the bottom of your library. Flavor text. Minotaurs sometimes pretend to be lost in a battle rage, leading their opponents to underestimate their cleverness. Card number 127. Gitu Amplifier. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type. Creature. Human Wizard. Rarity common. Kicker. 2 generic mana, 1 island. You may pay an additional 2 generic, 1 island as you cast this spell. When Gitu Amplifier enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature and opponent controls to its owner's hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Gitu Amplifier gets +2/+0 until end of turn. 1 power, 2 toughness. Card number 128. Goblin Picker. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type creature, goblin, rarity common. Spend 1 mountain mana and tap. Discard a card, draw a card. Flavor text. Countless generations of Shivan goblins have worked on the mana rig, giving them an unparalleled eye for useful relics. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 129. Hammerhand. Costs 1 mountain mana. Type enchantment aura. Rarity common. Abilities. Enchant creature. When Hammerhand enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. Card number 130. Hurler Cyclops. Costs 2 mountain, 3 generic mana. Type creature. Cyclops. Rarity uncommon. Abilities. Spend 1 generic mana. Sacrifice another creature. Hurler Cyclops deals 1 damage to any target. Flavor text. It is my fault, really. I told him to throw anything he could find at the enemy. Throbble. Auxiliary Commander. 5 toughness, 4 power. Card number 131. Horloon Battle Hymn. Cost 1 mountain, 2 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Kicker 1 plains mana. You may pay an additional plains as you cast this spell. Horloon Battle Hymn deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was kicked, you gain 4 life. Flavor text. The magical echoes of Horloon Mountain Range greatly increases the potency of spells based on song or speech. Card number 132. Enthrall to the Pit. Costs 1 mountain, 3 generic mana. Type sorcery. Rarity common. Kicker 2 generic, 1 swamp. You may pay an additional 2 generic, 1 swamp mana as you cast this spell. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. If the spell was kicked, sacrifice that creature at the beginning of the next end step. Card number 133. Jaya, Fiery Negotiator. Costs 2 mountain, 2 generic mana. Type, Legendary Planeswalker, Jaya. Rarity, Mythic. +1 loyalty. Create a 1/1 red monk creature token with prowess. -1 loyalty. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. You may play that card this turn. -2 loyalty. Choose target creature an opponent controls whenever you attack this turn. Jaya Fiery Negotiator deals damage equal to the number of attacking creatures to that creature. -8 loyalty. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a red instant or sorcery spell, copy it twice. You may choose new targets for those copies. Starts with 4 loyalty. Card number 134. Jaya's Firenado. Costs 1 mountain, 4 generic mana. Type sorcery. Rarity common. Ability. Jaya's Firenado deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Scry 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card at the bottom of your library. Flavor text. For all of their supposed advances, the Phyrexians still aren't fireproof. Jaya Ballard. Card number 135. Kaldon Flame Sage. Costs 1 mountain, 2 generic mana. Type creature. Human Shaman. Rarity rare. Abilities. Enlist. Whenever Kaldon Flame Sage attacks, look at the top X cards of your library. Where X is Kaldon Flame Sage's power. You may exile an instant or sorcery card with mana value of X or less from among them. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 136. Kaldon Strike Team. Costs 1 mountain, 2 generic mana. Type, creature. Human warrior. Rarity, common. Abilities, kicker. 1 generic mana, 1 plains. You may pay an additional 1 generic, 1 plains mana as you cast the spell. When Kaldon Strike Team enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. As long as Kaldon Strike Team entered battlefield this turn, creatures you control have haste. 3 power, 1 toughness. Card number 137. Lightning Strike. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type, instant. Rarity, common. Ability. Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to any target. Flavor text. Danitha watched in shock as electricity lanced from Jaya's fingertips, obliterating the charging Phyrexians. "What?" said the pyromancer serenely. "I told you, I learned some new tricks." Card number 138. Mirai's Outrider. Costs 1 mountain, 4 generic mana. Type, creature, elf archer. Rarity, common. Ability, reach. Domain. When Mirai's Outrider enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Flavor text. Arrows fashioned from the living wood of Yavimaya carry all the forest rage in their fire-hardened points. 4 power, 4 toughness. Card number 139. Molten Monstrosity. Costs 1 mountain, 7 generic mana. Type, creature, Hellion. Rarity, common. Abilities. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power amongst creatures you control. Trample. Flavor text. The cold snap killed off most of the heat-loving Hellions, leaving only the strongest alive to breed. 5 power, 5 toughness. At card number 140. Phoenix Chick. Costs 1 mountain mana. Type, creature, Phoenix. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Flying, haste. Phoenix Chick can't block. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may pay an additional 2 mountain mana. If you do, return Phoenix Chicks from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking with +1/+1 counter on it. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 141. Rada's Firebrand. Costs 1 mountain, 1 general mana. Type, creature, human warrior. Rarity, rare. Abilities. Whenever Rada's Firebrand attacks, target creature defending player controls with power less than Rada's Firebrand's power can't block this turn. Domain. 5 generic, 1 mountain mana. Rada's Firebrand gets +2/+2 until end of turn. This ability costs 1 generic mana less to activate. For each basic land type amongst lands you control, activate only once per turn. 3 power, 1 toughness. Card number 142. Rundveld Hordemaster. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type, creature, goblin warrior. Rarity, rare. Abilities. Other goblins you control get +1/+1. Whenever Rundveld Hordemaster or another goblin you control dies, exile the top card of your library. If it's a goblin creature card, you may cast that card until the end of your next turn. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 143. Shivan Devastator. Costs 1 mountain mana, X generic mana. Type, creature, dragon, hydra. Rarity, mythic. Abilities, flying, haste. Shivan Devastator enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Flavor text. There were many reasons why Shiv was not high on Sheoldred's list of places to conquer. Big, fiery reasons. 0 power, 0 toughness. Card number 144. Smash to Dust. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type, sorcery. Rarity, common. Ability. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact, or destroy target creature with defender, or Smash to Dust deals 1 damage to each creature your opposition controls. Card number 145. Sprouting Goblin. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type, creature, goblin druid. Rarity, uncommon. Abilities, kicker, forest. You may pay an additional forest as you cast this spell. When Sprouting Goblin enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, search your library for a land card with a basic land type. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Pay 1 mountain and tap. Sacrifice a land, draw a card. 2 power, 2 toughness. At card number 146, Squee, Dubious Monarch. Costs 1 mountain, 2 generic mana. Type, legendary creature. Goblin noble. Rarity, rare. Abilities, haste. Whenever Squee Dubious Monarch attacks, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. You may cast Squee Dubious Monarch from your graveyard by paying 3 generic 1 mountain mana and exiling 4 other cards from your graveyard rather than paying its mana cost. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 147. Temporal Firestorm. Costs 2 mountain, 3 generic mana. Type sorcery. Rarity rare. Ability kick. 1 generic, 1 plains, and or 1 generic, 1 island. You may pay an additional 1 generic, 1 island, or 1 generic, 1 plains as you cast the spell. Choose up to X creatures and or planeswalkers you control, where X is the number of times the spell was kicked. Those permanents phase out. Temporal Firestorm deals 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Card number 148. Thrill of Possibility. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards. Flavor text. The most delicious ingredients are often the most dangerous to obtain. As Mirando more dicadiest inaculadicar. The Underworld Cookbook. Card number 149. Twinferno. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Choose one. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose a new target for the copy. Or, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. Flavor text. More fire? Jaya asked. More fire, Joda agreed. Card number 150. Viashino Branch Rider. Costs 1 mountain. Type creature, Viashino Warrior. Rarity common. Abilities. Kicker. 2 generic, 1 forest. You may pay an additional 2 generic, 1 forest mana as you cast the spell. Haste. If Viashino Branch Rider was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Spend 2 generic, 1 mountain mana. Viashino Branch Rider gets +2/+0 until end of turn. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 151. Warhost's Frenzy. Costs 1 mountain, 2 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity uncommon. Abilities. Kicker 1 swamp. You may pay an additional swamp as you cast the spell. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. If the spell was kicked, whenever a creature you control dies in this turn, draw a card. Flavor text. Kaldans may be outnumbered, but they are never outmatched. Card number 152. Yavimaya Steel Crusher. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type creature. Ape Warrior. Rarity common. Ability. Enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. Pay 1 generic mana. Sacrifice Yavimaya Steel Crusher. Destroy target artifact. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 153. Yotai Declares War. Costs 1 mountain, 1 generic mana. Type Enchantment Saga. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skip chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1. Create a 0/2 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying named Ornithopter. 2. Tap any number of untapped artifacts you control. When you do, Yotai Declares War deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker. 3. Up to 1 target artifact you control becomes a creature with base power and toughness 4/4 until end of turn. At card number 154, Barkweaver Crusher. Costs 1 forest, 3 generic mana. Type creature, Elemental Warrior. Rarity common. Abilities. Enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its attack power to this creature's until end of turn. Flavor text. Phyraxia may be ancient, but Gaia is eternal. Queen Alanel of Rudach. 2 power, 5 toughness. At card number 155. Bite Down. Costs 1 forest, 1 generic mana. Type instant. Rarity common. Ability. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Flavor text. Yavimaya takes care of herself. The Kavu are evidence of this. What does your coalition offer that forest cannot provide? Jensen Carthalion. At card number 156. Bog Badger. Costs 1 forest, 2 generic mana. Type creature, badger, rarity common, ability, kicker, swamp. You may pay an additional swamp as you cast this spell. When Bog Badger enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, creatures you control gain menace until end of turn. A creature with menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 157, Broken Wings. Costs 1 forest, 2 generic mana. Type instant, rarity common. Ability, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Flavor text, Sarah guides our shots true. Also, I tuned the cannons, Diana. Card number 158, Colossal Growth. Costs 1 forest, 1 generic mana. Type instant, rarity common, kicker, mountain. You may pay an additional mountain as you cast this spell. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, instead that creature gets +4/+4 and gains trample and haste until end of turn. Card number 159. Deathbloom Gardener. Costs 1 forest, 2 generic mana. Type creature, elf druid, rarity common. Abilities, Death Touch. Tap, add 1 color of any mana. Flavor text. I can provide the coalition with poisons that will break down Phyrexian machinery as easily as they stop the heart. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 160, Defiler of Vigor. Costs 2 forest, 3 generic mana. Type creature, Phyrexian worm. Rarity, rare. Ability, trample. As an additional cost to cast green permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost 1 forest less to cast if you paid life in this way. This effect reduces only the amount of green mana you pay. Whenever you cast a green permanent spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. 6 power, 6 toughness. Card number 161, Elfheim Worm. Costs 1 forest, 4 generic mana. Type creature, worm. Rarity, common. Ability, vigilance, trample. Flavor text. The worms consume everything in their path, so the elves make sure that their path goes through as many Phyrexians as possible. 5 power, 4 toughness. Card number 162, Elvish Hydromancer. Costs 1 forest, 2 generic mana. Type creature, elf wizard, rarity uncommon. Abilities, kicker, 3 general, 1 island. You may pay an additional 3 general, 1 island mana as you cast this spell. When Elvish Hydromancer enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create a token that is a copy of target creature you control. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 163, Floriferious Vine Wall. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type creature, plant wall. Rarity, common. Abilities, defender. When Floriferious Vine Wall enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in random order. 0 power, 2 toughness. Card number 164, Gear's Might. Costs 1 forest. Type instant, rarity common. Ability, domain. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each basic land type among lands you control. Flavor text. Why fight over lumber in the tree's trunks when the branches have room for all? Multani. Card number 165, Herd Migration. Costs 1 forest, 6 general mana. Type sorcery. Rarity rare. Domain. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token for each basic land type amongst lands you control. Pay 1 general, 1 forest mana. Discard Herd Migration. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle. You gain 3 life. Card number 166. Hexbane Tortoise. Costs 1 forest, 2 general mana. Type creature, turtle. Rarity common. Ability, ward 2. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it, unless that player pays 2 general mana. Enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 167, Leaf-Crowned Visionary. Costs 2 forests. Type creature, elf druid. Rarity, rare. Ability. Other elves you control get +1/+1 whenever you cast an elf spell. You may pay 1 forest. If you do, draw a card. Flavor text. The seedling you saved today might be the sheltering boughs of generations to come. 1 power, 1 toughness. Card number 168. Linebreaker Baloth. Costs 2 forest, 3 general mana. Type creature, beast. Rarity uncommon. Ability, enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. Linebreaker Baloth can't be blocked by creatures with a power 2 or less. 4 power, 5 toughness. Card number 169. Elena War Green Widow. Costs 1 forest, 2 general mana. Type creature, spider. Rarity, rare. Ability, reach, trample. Domain, 7 general, 1 forest. Return Llanowar War Green Widow from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It gains, if this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. This ability costs 1 general mana less to activate for each basic land type amongst lands you control. 4 power, 3 toughness. Card number 170. Llanowar War Lone Speaker. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type creature, elf, druid. Rarity, rare. Abilities. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still a land, activate only as a sorcery. Flavor text. Twigs broken underfoot in Llanowar tend to return the favor. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 171. Llanowar Stalker. Costs 1 forest. Type, creature, elf warrior. Rarity, common. Ability. Whenever another creature enters the battle under your control, the Llanowar Striker gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Flavor text. If you spot 1 elf in Llanowar, it is likely there is another with a knife at your back. 1 toughness, 1 power. Card number 172. Agnanoth Sentry. Costs 1 forest, 3 general mana. Type creature, treefolk. Rarity, common. Ability, reach. Flavor text. When one Yavimai's enormous Magnanoth trees awakens into treefolk, it is the towering presence of physical strength and ancient wisdom. 4 power, 4 toughness. Card number 173. Mossbeard Ancient. Costs 2 forest, 5 general mana. Type creature, treefolk. Rarity uncommon. Abilities. Trample. When Mossbeard Ancient enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. Flavor text. Older than the mountains, the dragons, and the walls of humans and machines. 7 power, 7 toughness. Card number 174. Nishoba Brawler. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type creature, cat warrior. Rarity uncommon. Abilities. Trample. Domain. Nishoba Brawler's power is equal to the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Flavor text. Though native to cold climates, the Nishoba have adapted to more temperate environments since the Ice Age ended. X power, 3 toughness. Card number 175. Korean Beastcaller. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type, creature, dryad warrior. Rarity, rare. Abilities. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Korean Beastcaller. When Korean Beastcaller dies, distribute X +1/+1 counters amongst any number of target creatures you control, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Korean Beastcaller. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 176. Scout of the Wilderness. Costs 1 forest, 2 general mana. Type sorcery. Rarity common. Ability kicker. 1 general, 1 plains mana. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 plains as you cast the spell. Search your library for basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. If the spell was kicked, create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Card number 177. Silverback Elder. Costs 3 forest, 2 general mana. Type creature, ape shaman. Rarity, mythic. Abilities. Whenever you cast a creature spell, choose 1. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Or look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into the battlefield tap. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. Or you gain 4 life. 5 power, 7 toughness. Card number 178. Slimefoot Survey. Costs 1 forest, 4 general mana. Type sorcery. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Domain. Search your library for up to 2 land cards that each have the basic land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffled. Look at the top X cards of your library where X is the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Put up to one of them on top of your library, and the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. Card number 179. Snare Spinner. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type, creature, spider. Rarity, common. Abilities, reach. Whenever Snare Spinner blocks a creature with flying, Snare Spinner gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Flavor text. In the rich jungles of Yabamaya, bright colors are the perfect camouflage. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 180. Strength of Coalition. Costs 1 forest. Type, instant. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, kicker. 2 general, 1 plains mana. You may pay an additional 2 general, 1 plains mana as you cast this spell. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If the spell was kicked, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Flavor text. Root and wing, claw and sword. This will be a memorable stand indeed. Lyra, Dawnbringer. Card number 181. Sunbathing Rootwaller. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type, creature, lizard. Rarity, common. Ability, domain, 3 general, 1 forest. Until end of turn, Sunbathing Rootwaller gets +1/+1 for each basic land type amongst lands you control. Activate only once each turn. Flavor. A Rootwaller's prey includes anything or anyone that wanders into view. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 182. Tail Swipe. Costs 1 forest. Type, instant. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If you cast a spell during your main phase, the creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Then the creatures fight each other. Each deals damage equal to its power to the other. Card number 183. Tear Asunder. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type, instant. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, kicker. 1 general, 1 swamp. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 swamp as you cast the spell. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If the spell was kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. Flavor text. No one knows why the spirit mongers were so enraged by Phyrexian technology, but it was a stroke of good luck for the Coalition. Card number 184. Territorial Marrow. Costs 1 forest, 4 general mana. Type, creature, elemental. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, domain. Territorial Marrow's power and toughness are each equal to twice the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Flavor text. The Coalition was more than just the treaties and alliances. It was the soul of the world rising up against the invading tide. X power, X toughness. Card number 185. Threats undetected. Costs 1 forest, 2 general mana. Type sorcery, rarity rare. Ability. Search your library for up to 4 creature cards with different powers and reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Shuffle those chosen cards into your library and put the rest into your hand. Card number 186. Urbog Lurgoyf. 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type creature Lurgoyf. Rarity rare. Ability kicker. Island and or swamp. You may pay an additional island and or swamp as you cast this spell. As Urbog Lurgoyf enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards for each time it was kicked. Urbog Lurgoyf's power is equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. X power, 1 + X toughness. Card number 187. Vine Shaper Prodigy. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type creature, elf druid. Rarity common. Ability kicker. 1 general, 1 island. You may pay an additional 1 general, 1 island mana as you cast this spell. When Vine Shaper Prodigy enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 188. The Weatherseed Treaty. Costs 1 forest, 2 general mana. Type, enchantment, saga. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, read ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skipped chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1. Search your library for basic land card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. 2. Create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. 3. Domain. Target creature you control gets +X/+X and gains trample until end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Card number 189. The World Spell. Costs 2 forest, 5 general mana. Type Enchantment, Saga. Rarity, Mythic. Ability, Read Ahead. Choose a chapter and start with that many lore counters. Add 1 after your draw step. Skipped chapters don't trigger. Sacrifice after 3. 1 and 2. Look at top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-saga permanent card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest of them at the bottom of your library in random order. 3. Put up to 2 non-saga permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Card number 190. Yavimaya Iconoclast. Costs 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type Creature, Elf. Rarity Uncommon. Abilities, Kicker, 1 mountain. You may pay an additional mountain as you cast this spell. Trample. When Yavimaya Iconoclast enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Flavor text. Steel weapons hold a forbidden allure to some of the younger Yavimayans. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 191. Yavimaya Sojourner. Costs 1 forest, 7 general mana. Type Creature, Treefolk. Rarity Common. Ability, Domain. This spell costs 1 general mana less to cast for each basic land type amongst lands you control. Flavor text. To the long-lived Treefolks, the Phyrexian invading again after only 3 centuries was though they'd never left. 4 power, 6 toughness. Card number 192. Ajani, Sleeper Agent. Costs 1 plains. 1 plains and forest hybrid mana, 1 forest, and 1 general mana. Type Legendary Planeswalker, Ajani. Rarity, Mythic. Completed. Plains, forest, hybrid mana can be paid with a plains or a forest, or 2 life. If life was paid, this Planeswalker enters with 2 fewer loyalty tokens. +1 loyalty. Reveal the top card of your library. If it is a creature or Planeswalker card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it on the bottom of your library. -3 loyalty. Distribute 3 +1/+1 counters amongst up to 3 target creatures. They gain vigilance until next turn. -6. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a creature or Planeswalker spell, target opponent gets 2 poison counters. Starts battle with 4 loyalty. Card number 193. Aron, Benelia's Ruin. Costs 1 swamp, 2 plains mana. Type Legendary Creature. Phyrexian Human. Rarity Uncommon. Ability Menace. This creature cannot be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Pay 1 plains, 1 swamp, and tap. Sacrifice another creature. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Flavor text. He may look like my father, but the man I knew and loved is gone. Danitha. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 194. Asta, Bearer of Blades. Costs 1 plains, 1 mountain, 2 general mana. Type Legendary Creature, Human Warrior. Rarity Rare. Ability. When Asta, Bearer of Blades, enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an equipment or vehicle card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Equipment you control have equip 1 general mana cost. Vehicles you control have a crew of 1. 4 power, 4 toughness. Card number 195. Bad. Argivian Recruiter. Costs 1 plains, 1 mountain mana. Type Legendary Creature, Human Soldier. Rarity Uncommon. Ability. At the beginning of your end step, if you control the creature with power greater than its base power, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Flavor text. Fear doesn't make you a coward. Giving in to it does. Now take up your sword and fight! 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 196. Balmor, Battle Mage Captain. Costs 1 mountain, 1 island. Type Legendary Creature, Bird Wizard. Rarity Uncommon. Abilities. Flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain trample until end of turn. Flavor text. Even the most hardened armies are ill-equipped to defend against an onslaught from the sky. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 197, Bortuk Bone Rattle. Costs 1 forest, 1 swamp, 4 general mana. Type, legendary creature, Troll Shaman. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, domain. When Bortuk Bone Rattle enters the battlefield, if you cast it, choose a target creature card in your graveyard. Return that card to the battlefield if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Otherwise, put it into your hand. 4 power, 4 toughness. Card number 198, Ellis Ilkor Sadistic Pilgrim. Costs 1 swamp, 1 plains mana. Type, legendary creature, Irexian Core Cleric. Rarity, uncommon. Abilities, Death Touch. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Flavor text. All will bow to the Whispering One. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card number 199, Urtai Resurrected. Costs 1 swamp, 1 island, 2 general mana. Type, legendary creature, Phyrexian Human Wizard. Rarity, rare. Ability, Flash. When Urtai Resurrected enters the battlefield, choose up to 1. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability, its controller draws a card. Or destroy another target creature or planeswalker, its controller draws a card. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 200, Ghana, Bloodfist of Keld. Costs 2 mountains, 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, Human Berserker. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, Ghana Bloodfist of Keld deals 1 damage to each opponent. Flavor text. Let's see who gets more kills, Bradra. 4 power, 3 toughness. Card number 201, Ivy, Gleeful Spell Thief. Costs 1 island, 1 forest. Type, legendary creature, Fairy Folk. Rarity, rare. Abilities, Flying. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, Gleeful Spell Thief, you may copy that spell. The copy targets Ivy. A copy of an aura spell becomes a token. 2 attack, 1 toughness. Joyra, Ageless Innovator. Costs 1 mountain, 1 island mana. Type, legendary creature, Human Artificer. Rarity, rare. Ability, tap this card. Put 2 Ingenuity counters on Johoria, Ageless Innovator. Then you may put an artifact card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is the number of Ingenuity counters on Joria. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 203, Joda, the Unifier. Costs 1 forest, 1 mountain, 1 swamp, 1 island, 1 plains. Type, legendary creature, Human Wizard. Rarity, mythic. Abilities, legendary creatures you control get +X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in random order. 5 power, 5 toughness. Card number 204, King Darian, the 48th. Costs 1 plains, 1 forest, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, Human Soldier. Rarity, rare. Ability, other creatures you control get +1/+1. Pay 3 general, 1 forest, 1 plains. Put a +1/+1 counter on King Darian and create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Sacrifice King Darian. Creature tokens you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. 2 power, 3 toughness. Card number 205, Lagomos, Hand of Hatred. Costs 1 mountain, 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, Human Shaman. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end phase. Tap this card. Search your library for a card. Put it into your hand, then shuffle. Activate only if 5 or more creatures died this turn. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card 206. Meria, Scholar of Antiquity. Costs 1 forest, 1 mountain, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature. Elf Artificer. Rarity, rare. Ability. Tap an untapped non-token artifact you control, add Forest. Tap 2 untapped non-token artifacts you control, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. Flavor text. Why fear artifice? Is it not also in this world? 3 power, 3 toughness, and card 207. Ale. Avizoa Aeronaut. Costs 1 island, 1 forest, 2 general mana. Type legendary creature, Elf Scout. Rarity uncommon. Abilities. Flying. Domain. Whenever Nail Avizoa Aeronaut deals combat damage to a player, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Put up to 1 of them on the top of your library, and the rest at the bottom in a random order. Then, if there are 5 basic land types among the lands you control, draw a card. 2 power, 4 toughness. Card number 208. Nigel, the Storm Runner. Costs 1 mountain, 2 islands, 2 general mana. Type legendary creature, Ifrit Wizard. Rarity uncommon. Ability. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. Whenever Nigel the Storm Runner attacks, you may pay 2 general mana. If you do, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. 5 power, 4 toughness. At card number 209, Namata, Primeval Warden, costs 1 forest, 1 swamp, 2 general mana. Type legendary creature, Treefolk. Rarity rare. Ability reach. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. Pay 1 forest, sacrifice a sapling, Namata, Primeval Warden gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Pay 1 general, 1 swamp mana, sacrifice 2 saplings, draw a card. 3 toughness, 4 power. Card 210, Queen Alanel of Rodash. Costs 2 plains, 1 forest. Type legendary creature, Elf Noble. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Queen Alanel of Rodash's power in toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. If 1 or more creature tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a 1/1 white soldier creature token are created instead. X power, X toughness. Card number 211. Rada, Coalition Warlord. Costs 1 forest, 1 mountain, 2 general mana. Type legendary creature, Elf Warrior. Rarity uncommon. Ability Domain. Whenever Rada, Coalition Warlord becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types amongst the lands you control. Flavor text. Enough warm-up! I'm coming for you, Shieldred! 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 212. Wrath, Weatherlight Stillwalt. Costs 1 island, 1 plains. Type legendary creature, Human Wizard. Rarity uncommon. Ability. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. Pay 3 general mana and 2 plains mana. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Flavor text. This old ship has seen a lot, but she's not done yet. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 213. Ratadrabik of Urbog. Costs 1 swamp, 1 plains, 2 general mana. Type legendary creature, Zombie Wizard. Rarity rare. Ability Vigilance, Ward, 2 general mana. Other zombies you control have vigilance. Whenever another legendary creature you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary, and it's a 2/2 black zombie, in addition to its other colors and types. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 214. Rith, Liberated Primeval. Costs 1 plains, 1 forest, 1 mountain, 2 general mana. Type legendary creature, Dragon. Rarity Mythic. Ability Flying, Ward 2. Other dragons you control have Ward 2. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls was dealt excess damage this turn, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. 5 power, 5 toughness. Card number 215. Rivaz of the Claw. Costs 1 mountain, 1 swamp, 1 general mana. Type legendary creature, Vyashino Warlock. Rarity rare. Ability Menace. Tap this card. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast dragon creature spells. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard. Whenever you cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard, it gains, when this creature dies, exile it. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 216. Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful. Costs 2 swamp, 1 island, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, human wizard. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life. You may cast Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying its other costs. Flavor text. Consider yourself lucky, not everyone is granted the gift of completion. 3 power, 4 toughness. Card number 217. Rulik Mons, Warren Chief. Costs 2 forest, 1 mountain, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, goblin. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, menace. This creature cannot be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Whenever Rulik Mons, Warren Chief attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it is a land card, you may put it into the battlefield tapped. If you didn't put a card onto the battlefield this way, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 218. Shana, Purifying Blade. Costs 1 island, 1 plains, 1 forest. Type, legendary creature, human warrior. Rarity, mythic. Ability, lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay X. If you do so, draw X cards. X can't be greater than the amount of life you gained this turn. Flavor text. Shana had heard Sisay's legend all her life. Now is time to forge her own. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 219. Solkana, the Tainted. Costs 1 mountain, 1 swamp, 1 island, 2 general mana. Type, legendary creature, elemental demon. Rarity, mythic. Ability. At the beginning of your end step, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Draw a card. Or, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Or, Solkana the Tainted deals 3 damage to up to 1 other target creature or planeswalker. Or, exile Solkana, then return it to the battlefield under your opponent's control. 5 power, 5 toughness. Card number 220. Soul of Windgrace. Costs 1 forest, 1 mountain, 1 swamp, and 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, cat avatar. Rarity, mythic. Ability. Whenever Soul of Windgrace enters the battlefield or attacks, you may put a land card from your graveyard onto the battlefield tap, under your control. Spend 1 forest, discard a land card, you gain 3 life. 1 general, 1 mountain, discard a land card, draw a card. 2 general, 1 swamp, discard a land card. Soul of Windgrace gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. 5 power, 4 toughness. Card number 221. Sten, Paranoid Partisan. Costs 1 island, 1 plains. Type, legendary creature, human wizard. Rarity, rare. As Sten, Paranoid Partisan enters the battlefield, choose a card type other than creature or land. Spells you cast with the chosen type cost 1 general less mana. Cost 1 general mana less to cast. 1 general mana, 1 plains, 1 island. Exile Sten, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. 2 power, 2 toughness. Card 222. Adyova, Steward of Tides. Costs 1 island, 2 forest. Type, legendary creature, merfolk druid. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Land creatures you control have flying. Whenever a land creature enters battle under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with haste. It is still a land. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card 223. Tori de Avenant, Fury Rider. Cost 1 plains, 2 mountain, 1 general mana. Type, legendary creature, human knight. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, vigilance, trample. Whenever Tori de Avenant, Fury Rider, attacks, all other attacking creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Other red attacking creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. Untap each other white attacking creature you control. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 224. Tura Kenarud, Sky Knight. Costs 2 island, 1 plains, 2 general mana. Type, legendary creature, human knight. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Flavor text. The sky is my birthright. I dare you to try and take it from me. 3 power, 3 toughness. Card number 225. Urg, Spawn of Turg. Costs 1 forest, 2 swamp. Type, legendary creature, frog beast. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Urg, Spawn of Turg's power is equal to the number of land cards in your graveyard. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into the graveyard. Spend 1 swamp, 1 forest, sacrifice a land. You gain 2 life. X power, 5 toughness. Card number 226. Voha, Vodalian Desecrator. Costs 1 swamp, 1 island. Type, legendary creature. Phyrexian Merfolk Wizard. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Tap this card. Draw a card, then discard a card. If you discarded an instant or sorcery card this way, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Spend 2 general mana. Sacrifice Voha, Vodalian Desecrator. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell would be put into the graveyard, exile it instead. Activate only as a sorcery. 1 power, 2 toughness. Card number 227. Zar Ojinan, Scion of Efraza. Costs 1 plains, 1 forest, 3 general mana. Type, legendary creature, cat warrior. Rarity, uncommon. Ability, domain. Whenever Zar Ojinan, Scion of Efraza, becomes tapped, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with a toughness less than the number of basic land types amongst lands you control. Flavor text. I carry my home in my heart. More power, 4 toughness. Card number 228. Zur, Eternal Schemer. Costs 1 swamp, 1 island, 1 plains. Type, legendary creature, human wizard. Rarity, mythic. Ability, flying. Enchantment creatures you control have death touch, lifelink, and hexproof. Spend 1 general, 1 plains mana. Target non-aura enchantment you control becomes a creature in addition to its other types and has a base power and base toughness, each equal to its mana value. 1 power, 4 toughness. Card number 229. Automatic Librarian. Costs 3 general mana. Type, artifact creature, construct. Rarity, common. Ability. When Automatic Librarian enters the battlefield, scry 2. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them on the bottom of your library, and the rest on top in any order. Flavor text. Enforcing absolute quiet with extreme prejudice since 2285 AR. 3 power, 2 toughness. Card number 230. Golden Argosy. Costs 4 general mana. Type, legendary artifact vehicle. Rarity, rare. Ability. Whenever Golden Argosy attacks, while each creature that crewed it this turn, return them to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Crew 1. Tap any number of creatures you control with a total power of 1 or more. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. 3 power, 6 toughness. Card 231. Hero's Heirloom. Costs 2 general mana. Type, artifact equipment. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. As long as equipped creature is legendary, it has trample and haste. Equip 2 general mana. Flavor text. A blade is just a tool. Its power comes from the hand that wields it. Danitha. Card number 232. Inscribed Tablet. Costs 1 general mana. Type, artifact. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. 1 general mana. Tap. Sacrifice Inscribed Tablet. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put a land card from among them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library, in random order. If you didn't put a card into your hand this way, draw a card. Card number 233. Joda's Codex. Costs 5 general mana. Type, artifact. Rarity, uncommon. Ability. Domain. 5 general mana and tap. Draw a card. This ability costs 1 general mana less to activate for each basic land type amongst lands you control. Flavor text. If you remember nothing else of our world's history, remember this. Phyrexians can be defeated. Joda. Card number 234. Con Silex. Costs 3 general mana. Type, legendary artifact. Rarity, mythic. Ability. Con Silex enters the battlefield tapped. Players can't pay life to cast spells or to activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. X General Mana. Tap. Exile Khan's Silex. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less. Activate only as a sorcery. Card number 235. Meteorite. Costs 5 General Mana. Type Artifact. Rarity Common. Ability. When Meteorite enters the battlefield, it does 2 damage to any target. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Flavor text. Material at dig site 165 beta confirmed to be null moon origin. Immediate excavation assistance requested. Tellurian Field Dispatch. Card number 236. Relic of Legends. Costs 3 General Mana. Type Artifact. Rarity Uncommon. Ability. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Tap an untapped legendary creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color. Flavor text. If the worst parts of history can repeat themselves, it stands to reason that the best parts can as well. Teferi. Card number 237. Salvaged Mana Worker. Costs 2 General Mana. Type Artifact Creature. Construct. Rarity Common. Ability. 1 General Mana. Add 1 mana of any color. Activate only once each turn. Flavor text. When weapons of war are repurposed for peaceful ends, you know society has advanced. Yoda. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 238. Shield Wall Sentinel. Costs 4 General Mana. Type Artifact Creature. Golem. Rarity. Common. Abilities. Defender. When Shield Wall Sentinel enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with Defender. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Flavor text. Unit Alpha 6 locking into position. 1 power, 3 toughness. Card number 239. Timeless Lotus. Costs 5 General Mana. Type Legendary Artifact. Rarity Mythic. Ability. Timeless Lotus enters the battlefield tapped. Tap this card. Add Plains, Island, Swamp, Mountain, Forest mana. Flavor text. Urza exploited nature to power his war machines. In time, nature exploited his war machines to renew itself. Card number 240. Vanquisher's Axe. Costs 1 General Mana. Type Artifact Equipment. Rarity Common. Ability. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Equipped 2 General Mana. Spend 2 General Mana attached to target creature you control. Equip only as a sorcery. Flavor text. When Caldron takes a trophy from an enemy, it usually is something they can use to kill more enemies. Card number 241. Walking Bulwark. Costs 1 General Mana. Type Artifact Creature. Golem. Rarity Uncommon. Abilities. Defender. Spend 2 General Mana. Until end of turn, target creature with Defender gains haste, can attack as though it didn't have Defender, and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Activate only as sorcery. 0 power, 3 toughness. Card number 242. Weatherlight completed. Costs 2 General Mana. Type Legendary Artifact Vehicle. Rarity Mythic. Ability Flying. As long as Weatherlight completed has 4 or more Phyresis counters on it, it's a Phyrexian creature in addition to its other types. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a Phyresis counter on Weatherlight completed. Then draw a card if it has 7 or more Phyresis counters on it. If it doesn't, scry 1. 5 power, 5 toughness. Card number 243. A Darker Wastes. Type Land. Rarity Rare. Tap this card to add 1 colorless mana. Tap this card to add 1 plains or 1 island. A Darker Waste deals 1 damage to you. Flavor text. Left barren by his brother's war, it stands as a stark reminder of Dominaria's likely fate should the coalition fail. Card number 244. Caves of Koilos. Type Land. Rarity Rare. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 colorless mana. Tap this card to add 1 plains or 1 swamp. Caves of Koilos deals 1 damage to you. Flavor text. After years of silence, the caves once again echo with the grisly sounds of Phyrexians preparing for war. Card number 245. Contaminated Aquifer. Type Land, Island, Swamp. Rarity Land. Ability. Tap this card, add Island or Swamp. Contaminated Aquifer enters battlefield tapped. Flavor text. The caves stretch farther than anyone knows, and the terrible legacy of Yawgmoth lurks in every shadow. Card number 246, Crystal Grotto. Type land, rarity common. Ability. When Crystal Grotto enters the battlefield, scry 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom of your library. Tap this card, add 1 colorless mana. Spend 1 general mana and tap this card, add 1 mana of any color. Card number 247, Geothermal Bog. Type land, swamp, mountain. Rarity, land. Tap this card, add a swamp or a mountain mana. Geothermal Bog enters battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. There are still a few places where the natural dangers outweigh even those posed by Phyrexian sleeper agents. Card number 248, Haunted Mire. Type land, swamp, forest. Rarity, land. Tap this card, add a swamp or a forest mana. Haunted Mine enters the battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. Some of the nature spirits and wraiths that haunt Orbog take offense at the term Ghost Town. Card number 249, Idyllic Beachfront. Type land, plains, island. Rarity, land. Tap this card, add plains or island mana. Idyllic Beachfront enters battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. In tradition with the regional Talarian Academy, every Talarian campus is built near a body of water. Card number 250, Carplusion Forest. Type land, rarity, rare. Tap this card, add 1 colorless mana. Tap this card, add 1 mountain or forest mana. Carplusion Forest deals 1 damage to you. Flavor text. Between the jagged snow-capped peaks, the dense bands of hardy evergreens provide a perfect cover for roving bands of orc and goblin raiders. Card number 251, Molten Tributary. Type land, island, mountain. Rarity, land. Tap this card, add 1 island or mountain. Molten Tributary enters battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. Though dangerous, Shiv teams with both life and mana, making it a tempting destination for ambitious mages. Card number 252, Plaza of Heroes. Type land. Rarity, rare. Tap this card, add 1 colorless mana. Tap this card, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a legendary spell. Tap this card, add 1 mana of any color amongst legendary permanents you control. 3 general mana, tap this card. Exile Plaza of Heroes. Target legendary creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Card number 253, Radiant Grove. Type land, forest, plains. Rarity, land. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 forest or plains mana. Radiant Grove enters the battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. Yavimaya inhabitants are dedicated to protecting its unspoiled jungle from the scourge of artifice. Card number 254, Sacred Peaks. Type land, mountain, plains. Rarity, land. Ability. Tap this card, add mountain or plains mana. Sacred Peaks enters battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. Everyone is welcome in the floating Seren cities. So few, but the most faithful attempt the ascent. Card number 255, Shivan Reef. Type land, rarity, rare. Abilities. Tap this card, add 1 colorless mana. Tap this card, add an island or mountain mana. Shivan Reef deals 1 damage to you. Flavor. The boiling seas around Shiv provided a welcome layer of protection for the reclaimed mana rig. Card number 256, Sulphurous Springs. Type land, rarity, rare. Abilities. Tap this card, add 1 colorless mana. Tap this card, add 1 swamp or 1 mountain. Sulphurous Springs deals 1 damage to you. Flavor text. Everything is flammable in the Burning Isles, even the mana itself. Card number 257, Sunlit Marsh. Type land, plains, swamp. Rarity, land. Abilities. Tap this card, add 1 plains or swamp mana. Sunlit Marsh enters the battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. Even the poisoned land around the stronghold blossomed with new life in the wake of the Great Mending. Card number 258, Tangled Islet. Type land, forest, island. Rarity, land. Ability. Tap this card, add 1 forest or island mana. Tangled Islet enters battlefield, tapped. Flavor text. Many of the Tessaria's islands are merely extensions of the root system of Yavimaya Magnagoth forests. Card number 259, Thrawn Portal. Type, land, gate. Rarity, rare. Ability, Thrawn Portal enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. As Thrawn Portal enters the battlefield, choose a basic land type. Thrawn Portal is chosen type in addition to the other types. Mana abilities of Thrawn Portal cost an additional 1 life to activate. Card number 260, Wooded Ridgeline. Type, land, mountain, forest. Rarity, land. Tap this card, add 1 mountain or forest mana. Wooded Ridgeline enters the battlefield tapped. Flavor text. The power of long-forgotten empires still pulses in the earth of Dominaria, giving rise to strange, mana-rich pockets of growth. Card number 261, Yavimaya Coast. Type, land. Rarity, rare. Abilities. Tap this card, add 1 colorless mana. Tap this card, add forest or an island mana. Yavimaya Coast deals 1 damage to you. Flavor text. The Mognanoth's trees expanded across the sea into Almaz and New Argive. It became clear Yavamaya's borders were never confined by its coastline. Card number 262, 263, and 264. Blades. Basic land, plains. Tap to add 1 plains mana. Card number 265, 266, and 267. Island. Type, land. Basic land. Abilities. Tap this card to add 1 island mana. Card number 268, 269, 267. Swamp. Type, basic land, swamp. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 swamp mana. Card number 271, 272, and 273. Mountain. Type, basic land, mountain. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 mountain mana. Card number 274, 275, and 276. Forest. Type, basic land, forest. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 forest mana. Card number 277. Plains Showcase. Type, basic land, plains. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 plains mana. Card number 278. Island Showcase. Type, basic land, island. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 island mana. Card number 279. Swamp Showcase. Type, basic land, swamp. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 swamp mana. Card number 280. Mountain Showcase. Type, basic land, mountain. Tap this card to add 1 mountain mana. Card number 281. Forest Showcase. Type, basic land, forest. Ability. Tap this card to add 1 forest mana.